Are you sad? Are you depressed? Are you heartbroken? Are you in mental anguish?
If you answered yes to any of those, then alright, here we go. Top 10 movies to watch when you're depressed. Number 1, The Last Airbender movie. Just fucking kidding. That movie is a spine-squeezing, vagina-shredding shit machine. The Last Airbender movie will actually cause you depression. Do not watch it. I only mentioned it to grab your attention, and now that I have it, let's get started.
I'm Max.
I highly recommend watching them with a physical friend. If you don't have a good physical friend who wants to watch some incredible movies with you, then fuck them, who needs them? Okay, let's get into it. Logan. What the fuck is a superhero movie doing on this list? Well, have you seen Logan? It's more of a Western action than it is a superhero movie. Okay, then what the fuck is a Western action movie doing on this list? Well, have you seen Logan? This is a very sad movie, especially if you've seen any of the other X-Men movies. I have never seen the original trilogy, and this one still hit me like a truck. It definitely hits you harder if you're a guy and you see yourself as a father figure or something like that. So if you're a girl, I'd maybe give this one a pass because I've heard mixed things from girls, but I've only heard greatness from other guys, like my man Mike. They were all stellar. Even the child actress was phenomenal. And I don't know if this was the case for anyone else, but I was kind of sick of seeing Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine over and over. But after this movie, I was like, no one touch Wolverine. No one. This is perfect. Nobody do anything to him. Good job, Hugh Jackman, I love you. So yeah, that should tell you something. It feels gritty, and it excels in feeling that way. The writing, the lighting, the locations, the effects, everything is put together so extraordinarily well. I remember watching it and thinking there was dust in the air, and that just shows how much time and effort is spent creating the stellar atmosphere in this film. I was glued to the screen. Every so often there will be an intense moment where actual difference is made in the story. Like there's no moment that doesn't serve a purpose, at least it felt that way. The characters are constantly changing with every plot line that unravels around them. There are some scenes still stuck in my head just recalling how gorgeous they were. There's even a study of the cinematography and lighting. This film is very visually pleasing. If it can make grown men cry their hearts out, then I'd say it definitely did its job. Are you becoming too tired to do anything worthwhile with your life? Are you slowly seeing how obsolete you'll become to the world? Are you a ticking time bomb who brings nothing but pain and suffering everywhere they go? Or are you old? Then this movie is for you. Logan is exactly how I feel on a daily basis, even if I'm not hundreds of years old. This movie feels like my life, except maybe nowhere near as shitty or dangerous, but I'm sure you'll still feel for Wolverine just as I have and engage in the lessons taught within, just as I have done. Dear Zachary. Okay, so let's say your friend was murdered by his ex-girlfriend, and then his ex-girlfriend who murdered him is expecting his son. You are a filmmaker who's making a movie for their son named Zachary, hence the name Dear Zachary. This is what Dear Zachary is about. This film is so fucking good, plot-wise, and that's amplified being that this is all real. If you are going to watch it, please do not look up anything besides the movie itself because it can be spoiled fairly easily, and it is completely unpredictable, at least for me. Like, the contents within this film had me at the edge of my seat the entire time that I vividly remember my back hurting while I was watching this because I was slouched over staring straight into the screen. This isn't acting. The emotions and everything told within the story are real. This is real. This is a documentary, and it makes it so much more, if you get what I'm saying. You will feel something, and it's sad to see that such extraordinary work happened at the expense and suffering of a good, beautiful human being and their family. While the atmosphere isn't created through the sound design or cinematography, it is created through the story itself and the people who are living through it. From what I remember, it starts out pretty slow but picks up really quick and stays solid throughout. Boilerplate documentary style. Very fair. Same thing, just serviceable. Unlike any other film in this list, this one, once again, is real. This is a documentary. If you don't like documentaries, or if you don't know if you like documentaries, just fucking watch this. It's heartbreaking, and it made me cherish life and love those around me while I'm still alive. And in that, I began to enjoy life a little bit more while determining myself to try to help the world in any way I can to prevent shit like that from happening. But with that being said, no matter how incredible any piece of media is, it will never replace the gorgeous people who have passed away to make it happen. But at the very least, they could make this masterpiece to honor their memories. I don't even know if the message I received from this film was intentional, but what I gather is that even when the worst possible things happen, you make the best of them. I just do what the filmmaker did, and survive the hardest parts to become stronger in order to do better so that I can make the world a better place, just like any of you. Despite his friend passing away, he made the best of it that he possibly could. Even when everything was going wrong, he kept going. They all lived on for their loved one that passed away, and we should do the same. In that, they never really died, because they are living through us. And that's the most important thing I think any of us can do. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It's a bit confusing at first, some twists and turns here and there, but once you start to get started and get the hang of everything, you'll start to find out how beautiful it is. And there's symbolism everywhere. If you're heartbroken at all, then I cannot recommend this film enough. This is the first movie I've ever seen where Jim Carrey isn't all over the place. For the first time, he's finally calm and collected, and it's refreshing to see him do such a good job. He's such a fantastic actor, and he really shines through this movie, and same goes with the Titanic girl. There are a few performances that feel a little inferior, but nothing that distracts from how great it is. I wouldn't say this is something revolutionary in terms of tone, but it certainly has its own flavor. There's nothing bland, it's done very well, just nothing exceptional from what I've seen. I think it develops at a fairly comfortable level. It's set up so you're immediately interested in the characters, which I thought was executed near perfectly. Nothing spectacular, but it looks good. It looks great. It carries quite a whimsical and hopeful tune throughout, and I think that was a good idea. This movie feels good to watch. It never sinks you down deeper into the depression of heartbreak. It's nice. Our memories are precious. They are who we are. The good ones, the bad ones, even the worst ones, they are a part of us. There are even some people who believe that the synapse of memories we hold in our minds is what our consciousness is, which isn't scientifically proven, but you get where I'm going. This movie shows us the beauty in our memories. There's a certain heartstring it pulls whenever we see a character forget someone important to them, and we just want so badly to make them remember the stories that we were just shown. Along with that, I think there's a symbolic significance that I picked up with this movie the second time I watched it. It's basically saying, when are you ever gonna learn? And the characters give that theme the finger, saying, we don't want to learn, we want to be who we are, because they can't remember the reasons why they shouldn't learn, and they end up repeating history over and over. And that's kind of sweet in some way. That's not really a lesson I want you taking away, though. I want you to learn. I want you to improve yourself. I want you moving upward instead of stagnating. But this movie is a great watch nonetheless, and shows how important it is you learn from your memories. I'm fucking sick of doing the same goddamn thing over and over with no real payoff. I want something. I need something more than this. Tyler Durden has got you covered. We go from a zombie-like insomniac office worker woken up by Tyler to make himself into the instinctive animalistic monster in all of us, bleeding and bruising other men to get out all of the anger society slaps onto us. Just the kind of medicine we need. I think they all do a great job, but no one stands out more than Brad Pitt. He is the perfect life coach for the soul in all of us. It really depends on the scene. Sometimes it's not too exciting, and then other times there are moments of full adrenaline. And I guess they're a lot more powerful with those quiet moments. Like I said before, it's peppered with varying scenes throughout, and you're left wondering, where is it all gonna go? Where does this all lead up to? Is there anything more, or is it just gonna be underground fistfights? It keeps you reasonably fascinated as the plot thickens. This film, and David Fincher in general, really have a knack for matching camera angles with story elements, and making great use of color palettes to create exquisite compositions, all with the help of CG, which he has gotten very good at using. But since this film is pretty dated, it's kinda noticeable during some sections. There's a hip grunge soundtrack, but nothing that I find particularly astounding. Alright, so this movie is like, get up off your ass and stop being a piece of shit. You're no better than anyone else and no one is better than you. Even someone as badass as Tyler Durden. If you want to be like him, then how about you stop thinking about it and begin. He's made up of the same organic material as you and me. Flesh, bones, muscles, organs. You two are the same. I don't know what more I can say to make you understand that there's nothing more to this life than what you do. So fucking do something, you tiny little bitch. That's the message I got from this movie. And it is one I will live by for the rest of my life. It's such a beautiful day. If you like my videos, then you'll love this movie. If you don't like my videos, then you'll probably still love this movie. This is what inspired everything for this channel. You follow the story of Bill, an average guy who goes through a very average life and does very average things, until other things begin to happen. The story is so fucking odd and weird. It's almost like watching Salad Fingers, except it's not that out there. It's still very close to home. Like, you can almost completely relate with everything that's happening, and I can't imagine any real way to spoil this film. Like it's so open-ended, yet so simplified for the viewer. It's an experience that you have to see for yourself. I think there's only one actor who is the creator, Don Hertzfeldt. And he's less voice acting, more of just narrating everything, kind of like I do. But I really don't think that takes away from their performance. In fact, it adds to the charm of this unique little gem. And he has such a nice, soothing voice. I wouldn't necessarily say it's super immersive or anything groundbreaking, but you do certainly feel something when you're watching it. It brings me back to when I was around 4 years old watching Charlie Brown. I don't know if that's just nostalgia or if this film creates that feeling altogether, but with that, along with the dark, grainy aesthetic, I think you'll definitely feel the same thing or something similar. Definitely above average, but nothing super engaging. I'm not exactly sure how to rate a simplistic animation with no real depth of field or environmental storytelling through the use of a usually blank background and black vignette to isolate a composition. I love it, but I don't think it deserves any superior acknowledgement over anything else. No complaints here. What have you done with your life? Did you do anything extraordinary? Will you even remember any of it when you're old, or will it be so forgetful that the one person who spent the last 60+ years living through it won't even remember it? I think It's Such a Beautiful Day focuses on the depressing nature of our arbitrary lives, and it specifically shows the embodiment of you and I whenever we're going through that existential crisis of our limited time on Earth and how we will spend it. What the fuck are we gonna do? How about taking the time to smell the roses and realizing it's such a beautiful day? Enjoy your life. Arrival. This one is a sci-fi drama thriller. Amy Adams, who is now my all-time favorite actress in the entire world after watching this movie, plays as a linguistics professor when these huge alien pods drop down on Earth, and that's all I want to give away about this movie. The story and its execution is fucking amazing. As I said, Amy Adams became my favorite actress of all time after watching this. I don't know what more I can tell you. There's just something so stunning about her in this movie, as well as every performance, from Hawkeye to the dude who had the power armor in Rogue One. They all do a fantastic job. I don't know how true this is for anyone else, but I was taken away from the movie theater for the 2 hours while I was watching this film. I was captivated on an extreme level thanks to the combination of everything this movie does right, from audio to visuals to emotion. Gorgeous. Fucking beautiful. From the alien horns to the passionate orchestra of On the Nature of Daylight by Max Richter, which is perhaps one of the most beautiful songs my ears have ever tasted. Good. This movie is about aliens, except it's not. It's a movie that teaches us something about ourselves and humanity, which is perhaps one of the single most important aspects in sci-fi movies, symbolizing the struggles of mankind through a different lens. This film teaches how important it is to communicate with each other, that if only we open our ears and eyes to the other perspective, we'll realize we can do better for each other, as well as for ourselves. And not only that, it teaches no matter how fucking hard life gets, no matter how much you're gonna suffer, even if you know it's gonna be a living hell, it is still worth living through. And it really is. For all of you who are borderline suicidal, I am telling you, as a survivor of failed suicide and depression, it is worth living through. Now fucking live through it and watch this beautiful ass movie. Blade Runner 2049. This one is a sci-fi action drama thriller about robots, and is a sequel to the one released in 1982. That is all I want to say about the story. If you have not seen it, close this fucking video right now and go watch it, as well as everything else on this list. I don't care if you won't get to hear my opinion. I want you to get the fuck off your ass and watch Blade Runner 2049. It's ridiculous to say, but I am offended and disgusted that this film isn't doing so well in the box office, because that tells the production companies, oh, okay, so a film doesn't have to be good to be successful. Let's just shit out 50 more mediocre films about dating and superheroes. Go fuck yourself. Please, guys, just go watch this film. Otherwise, the rest of this is just going to be me overhyping it for you. Go watch it. Okay, here we go. Ryan Gosling is a god as always, but Henry Ford, for the first time in a long time, actually acted like an actor and played the character. Yeah, he still plays an old grumpy man, but at least there's more to it in this film. There's actual emotion here. He's actually playing the part, and that was beautiful to see. This one is a sci-fi action drama thriller about robots, but most importantly, it is fucking beautiful. Visually, audibly, symbolically, and characteristically, fucking beautiful. It does not feel like you're watching a movie. It feels like you're surrounded by a moment of someone's experience in an alternate universe. There are less fingers on my hand than there are movies that have immersed me so deeply into its universe. Dunkirk, Lord of the Rings, Alien, and now Blade Runner 2049. I cannot hype the atmosphere enough without it still being underhyped. I was breathtaking. This movie is 3 hours long. I didn't realize that. A devastating supercluster of life lies within this film, and even when it ended, I was like, but I want more. I want more, give me more. Jesus Christ. I really hope they release more of this. You are doing yourself a huge disservice if you do not go to the theaters to watch it. The overwhelming amount of work that went into how gorgeous this film looks shouldn't even be possible, and yet they pull it off. I can't even imagine how much better we could do than this. Just looking at the gargantuan structures in the world of Blade Runner is like, holy shit, what the hell, that's gorgeous. And I was pretty much saying that the whole time while I was watching it. The score hits really fucking hard. Fantastic music that I looked up as soon as I got home from the theater. It does a tremendous job setting the tone, and you'll hear what I mean whenever you go see it for yourself. Disobey your programming, and take life into your own hands. And just like the previous film on this list, it is less about sci-fi and more about ourselves. Denis Villeneuve knows what the fuck he's doing, and it just so happens he directed Arrival as well. He's not just trying to entertain people, he's trying to reveal to us something about ourselves. This film just came out and has already taken my heart. If you're suffering from depression, or even if you're just questioning life, which is all of us, I'm pretty sure, then you're going through some of the cycles that the themes present in this film. Purposelessness, and what it means to be human. This one unbelievably improves on the original Blade Runner, both in atmosphere and actual storytelling, which is almost unheard of for classic movies. This would be like if they rebooted the Terminator films and it turned out to be better than Terminator 1 and 2, which is probably considered impossible. But Denis pulled through and did exactly that. After I saw this, I just dropped everything and I was like, fuck it. I'm taking my life into my own hands, just like Cade does in this movie. This became one of my most favorite films of all time, and I hope it did for you too. That's right, I said did because you were already supposed to watch it. If you did not watch it and you watched this review, why? Stop. Go away. These movies are amazing. You may have noticed that they're not inherently about depression. That's because movies about depression either suck so fucking hard or leave you more depressed. And I don't want to do that to you guys. I want to give you something that can pick you up off the ground and push you forward, okay? You may have also noticed that there's no anime movies on this list. That's because I have those saved for a later video, so stay tuned for those. I upload every other Saturday. You may have also noticed that there's only 7 movies here, and that I'm giving these movies extremely high ratings and positive judgments. I am not someone who just gives out 8s, 9s, and 10s all the time. I'm specifically choosing movies that are some of my all-time favorites. Unlike other top 10 videos where they'll give you a bunch of mediocre ones just to make it half filler, half killer. killer. I'm giving you all killer. These are movies that have moved me. These are films forming who I was yesterday to who I am today. When I enter a theater, I expect to be changed whenever I leave, even if it's very slight. That is what I want from a film. And although being entertained is great, I don't want to just waste 2 hours of my life staring at a screen unless I gain something worthwhile from it. Whether that be an important lesson, an unforgettable theme, a captivating story, or whatever it brings to this world. And I hope these movies do just that for you. Now go watch them. If you haven't already, go. All of them, each one, each and every one. And subscribe to me if you didn't hate me, and don't unsubscribe from me if you're already subscribed to me. Unless you hate me, then you can unsubscribe from me. And I'm supposed to tell you to like the video and everything. Yeah, you should do that, but I hate asking. And I upload every other Saturday, so stay tuned. Okay, and that's it. All right, take care, everyone. Toodles.